if you automate a bad process, then you're not going to see results. So you really need to think, where do I want to personalize? What would you like them to do next? What do you think will be helpful for them where they're at right now? Like that's more of the focus of personalization that I focus on.
Welcome to another episode of Cup of Joe. I am your host, Joe Van Kampen, and I'm very excited to have Sarah Braccio here with me today. She is the manager of our marketing automation team. Sarah, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me, Joe.
Awesome. So Sarah, tell me a little bit about what marketing automation actually is.
Well, marketing automation, the first thing that some people jump into is thinking of drip campaigns and emails. Okay. But it's actually, we design and we build the whole infrastructure that allows us to send the right message at the right time when visitors come to our clients' websites. So think of if somebody interacts with a pricing or if somebody fills out a form, all of that behavior is going to trigger an action to send the right message to that person.
Who decides on the triggers?
When clients come in, we actually do a deep dive into their whole customer journey strategy.
Oh, okay.
So it's not just sending an automated message to send it. We say, okay, what do you want this visitor, this prospect to experience with your company? So anytime they interact with your website, when they call the community, all of that we take into consideration when architecting and designing the whole flow.
Right. So Sarah, tell me a little bit about how marketing automation supports the marketing journey as well as the salespeople at the actual community.
Yeah, absolutely. So the sales cycle, as we know, is fairly long, right? So because it's such a long cycle, there's going to be moments where this person can go quiet. Mm-hmm. So we're always looking for signals to notify the sales team that this person is interested. Okay. So what we do is connect the marketing data with the sales data. So we're looking at the same information. So that's why we map out what actions will be considered valuable to then we send that to sales so they get in contact with that person. That makes sense.
Very cool. So when you're building out that map, are we basing that off of personas? Or are we basing that on data in the beginning, or are we changing that as things progress in the campaign?
At the beginning, we ask the client how they operate. Okay. I want to understand how their sales team operates, if they have specific actions that they take, and then we inject ourselves in between those because you don't want to overwhelm the prospect.
Now, tell me a little bit about innovations in automation. Like what's changing with automation going forward?
So right now, as you know, there's a lot of change with AI. Yeah. So before, marketing automation was very trigger-based. Person does this, and this happens. If this doesn't happen, then this happens, sure. Right? So it's like a sequence of events, and you had to create the logic beforehand. Now with AI, the beauty is that with these agents, they can make decisions based on writing logic that you created. And it's just more flexible as to what you can automate and program.
Sure.
So we are right now, for example, we're testing with we have a library of content. Yeah. And we set up logic based on where the prospect is in the sales cycle and any actions that they took on the website. So let's say that somebody is post-tour and it's been a month and then they visit the pricing page again, that can trigger an email that's personalized for this person.
Very cool. You got me thinking a little bit about that triggering in the individual who basically leaves the website, maybe has done a tour, now comes back, and it's maybe even been, let's call it 6 months, 8 months, whatever else. Are there options in automation to support kind of re-engaging somebody where it's been a longer term gap, I guess, in their interacting with a brand?
Yeah, absolutely. So once we understand the whole journey and where we introduce ourselves, we do have different strategies for re-engaging prospects. So we have pre-tour trip campaigns, nurturing campaigns. These ones can be email and also text based. And then we have and also we have post-tour. So we do it based on behavior, not so much time-based.
Okay.
So we combine the two, because let's say that somebody toured and then we haven't heard from them in 3 months. They are still going to be receiving information from us and emails that are in line with their behavior.
Very cool.
What have you heard of operators lately? Is marketing automation really changing how families interact in the sales process? Or is it still kind of like a back-end efficiency of like, oh, we're just saving time?
That's a great question. So yes, families are changing the way that they're basically going through the marketing pipeline, or the sales pipeline, if you will. But what I'm really finding is, from a sales perspective, the salespeople know how to prioritize specific leads to generate, to focus their energy and make sure that they're basically generating revenue for the organization. Whereas on the flip side of that, we take a look at the marketing side. So two sides of the same coin. The marketing side, what they're basically very excited about in the way that things are going is being able to optimize their entire marketing strategy, from their Google ads, their SEO, and so forth and so on, and literally watch the lead move through to the CRM. And then when the person ends up moving in, being able to pull that revenue back and saying, okay, John Smith moved in February of last year. I don't know, let's say that it's October for easy numbers, and they spend $5,000. So that's what, $50,000. Is that 10 months? No, not quite. $40,000, right? I don't know. I should have used better math. But anyways, you get that. So whatever that revenue is that the individual is basically spending throughout that period of time, and being able to take whatever that dollar is and say, okay, this is exactly how much we spent to bring that lead in. It cost us $2,000 as an example to bring that lead through. And as we brought that lead through, now we're bringing in 40,000, and the individual still lives in the community, and it's piling and piling and piling, and it's just getting more and more profitable as time goes on, right? So for me, from a from a marketing standpoint, where I'm kind of overarching in the entire campaign, when I talk to the owners and I talk to the REITs that are actually running these programs, and I'm able to correlate the dollars directly back to the campaigns that we've run, that's kind of how what people are getting really excited about. I think that one of the challenges that our industry faces right now is that they don't necessarily fully know what a marketing strategy actually is. When we take a look at what a marketing strategy is, it's not marketing automation. It's not search engine optimization or PPC or even your website or anything like that. It is literally the encompassing story that we're telling, and understanding that as we tell that story, and the brand, putting the brand out there and talking about that brand story, as we tell that, then the avenues that come through from your search engine optimization standpoint and a PPC standpoint and an automation standpoint, all of those are just avenues to tell the story better, right? So sometimes we get kind of sucked into the vortex of not fully understanding what the story is. But when we correlate it down to specific individuals and say, this is how the story has changed. This story brought through John Smith in this case. John Smith ended up moving into the community. These are the dollars that you're getting on specifically for your ROI. And from a sales perspective, these are the leads that are the best leads for you. It tells that entire story, and it allows us to emphasize the story that we're telling, right?
Yeah, love that.
Let's get into the legal side of this for just a second here. So you mentioned AI is coming into automation. AI is basically landing everywhere. What are things that you would recommend people kind of steer clear of to protect them from potential legal issues?
Absolutely. So definitely make sure that your data is secure.
Yeah.
Right? Because we have phone numbers, email, like all of this needs to be protected. All the platforms that we use are HIPAA compliant, so they're secure.
And I think that that's one of the biggest things about the senior housing space, where it differentiates from many other industries, is we have to manage that HIPAA compliance. Because in many other industries, they don't necessarily need to focus too heavily on that piece.
Yep.
Can we talk a little bit about what's coming down the pipe in terms of personalization and what you see as opportunities and potential challenges with personalization and content?
Yeah, the biggest challenge that we encounter is we're doing things at scale.
Sure.
Like we're not managing for one community, we're managing for 30 plus communities.
Sure.
If you automate a bad process,
Yeah.
then you're not going to see results. So you
Right.
really need to think, where do I want to personalize? Is it based on care level, amenities, or financial information? Then you can inject emails or text messages or even dynamic content on the website.
Mm.
So if you
So when you say dynamic content, can you tell me a little bit more about that?
For sure. So there are some platforms, they support adding a section on your website
Okay.
that will show a different information based on who the visitor is. So you can show something, for example, like if you have an ad, right? You have PPC, somebody clicks on this ad, you can show a specific banner or hero banner on the website
Sure.
that is in line with that PPC ad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you get more granular?
You could get more granular. Okay, give me an example of.
So let's talk about the fair housing laws for a second. Like, fair housing laws state you cannot necessarily market your organization based on a person's age or race or sexual orientation or so forth and so on. Are you, of course, not necessarily like trying to skirt the fair housing laws, but are you able to use information that we know about an individual in that way to personalize content to them based on that information?
Yes, there's a couple things we could do. We could do it based on behavior,
Sure.
so what they clicked, and then we can also do it based on some certain demographics.
Okay.
So there are some enrichments features
Sure.
in some of the marketing automation platforms that we use
Right.
that allow you to gather more information. For example, how many people live in the household, if they have any veterans living in their household, financial information, all of this. And this is compliant.
Mm.
So yeah, that we could potentially use that.
And it's legal to do.
It is legal to do, correct.
Okay, cool.
The only thing is, if these are prospects that they haven't volunteered their information, they haven't opted in,
Yeah.
then we can't email them or text them from certain platforms.
Sure.
Yeah.
And because the content on the website is dynamic, in the event that we don't have the data to state that we should be personalizing based on specific information, it would be what, like the static layer of content that basically would be shown to the user?
Yeah, so how it works is that you can have different content blocks layered, as you said.
Yeah.
So there's always going to be a base layer. So it's
Yeah.
always going to be a default. So if we don't know who this person is, we'll show a generic. And then if we have information, we will show others.
And then the base layer, of course, would be also what the search engine optimization team would be basically writing and creating and curating to make sure that somebody is ranking for specific information. And then the layer on top is basically just a layer that lands there that personalizes content out to the individual.
Yes.
Brilliant. I love that.
Yeah.
Very cool. Sarah, where do we draw the line between automation and personalization and keep it cool kind of thing?
It can get a bit creepy, like when you go into a website and everything has your name on it and it's like super specific to your last, I don't know, to something that you feel like you haven't shared with that specific business.
Right.
So it's not just personalizing for personalizing, because it's, again, going back to the strategy and what the goal is.
Right.
So where is this person in the buying cycle?
Sure.
What would you like them to do next? What do you think will be helpful for them where they're at right now? Like that's more of the focus of personalization that I focus on. And yes, it is important to know their likes and what they're interested in.
Mm.
But let's say that if they like the color red, you're not going to change your website to be red because this person likes that color.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Sarah. It's been such a pleasure having you on the show. For those of you at home, if you'd like to get in touch with Sarah or myself, you can reach out to us directly. My phone number is 403-903-3703. You can also reach us at info@ctznpartners.com. Thank you so much.